Hi. So let us discuss what is VMware. We have we have something called hardware, we have something called software, we also have something called firmware. But what is this VMware? Now actually VMware, you can say, is a virtualization platform that has been created by a company called VMware. You can also say VMware as virtual machineware. Now what is the use of VMware? Now it has its own products. VMware virtualization is based on ESX and ESXi bare metal. So what are these terms that we are talking here about? So let us say if you are very new to servers or operating systems, you will have your PC. This is your CPU, for example. On this CPU you will have something called your hardware. Now assuming that this is my Intel processor, and I whatever hardware you have, I have something over here. I have my RAM and all those things I have over here. So on this hardware, what will you do is you will install your operating system. Maybe it is Windows, maybe it is Linux, whatever the operating system may be. So on this hardware you will have your operating system installed. On this operating system, now you decide to run an application, for example. Now this application is working on your device over here, right? Now what if I say there is an operating system, assuming that this operating system is Windows operating system. Now I say that I want to run a Linux software over here. It is not possible on Windows, right? So what you can do is you can give a solution that we will get rid of our Windows operating system, and instead of this we will have another operating system called Linux. So you have to delete this operating system and install a new operating system over here. But or else what you can give a solution is you can say I will have Windows and Linux both. You can have dual booting operating system. But what will happen is in dual boots you can have only one operating system that is functional at a given point of time. Now the other solution to for this is your VMware. Now in VMware what is going to be done is, see, this is our hardware over here. This is my device over here, and this is a hardware over here. On this hardware, what I can do is, on this hardware I can install something called a hypervisor. Now instead of hypervisor, let's see what we can do here is we can install our normal operating system. If you say I want to run a normal operating system, let us say this is my operating system. On this operating system you can run something called a hypervisor. Now this hypervisor over here is also like your kernel, you can say. So what is the job of your kernel? The kernel sits in between the operating system and hardware. The operating system wants something over here, so the kernel goes to the hardware and gives it to the application. Similarly, we will have something called a hypervisor in here. Now this hypervisor is your product by VMware. The product we are talking about is by VMware. There are other vendors also. So the product by VMware is your workstation. You can install a small software like workstation on your operating system, existing operating system, and that allows us to install multiple operating systems on the existing one. So if I say I already have Windows, I will be able to install Linux on this one. You say I want to install Linux and run Apache server, that's good. You can say I want to run another operating system. I want to run SUSE or CentOS or whatever operating system you want to run, you can run on the existing operating system. Now this type of installation is called your type 2 installation. This is a type 2 hypervisor, you can say, because it is running on an existing operating system. Instead of this, see what happens over here is there are a lot of patches for this basic operating system, and there will be hardware and like your memory. For example, this has 4 GB of RAM. There will be at least 1 GB utilized by this operating system. And if this operating system has a virus or something on that again affects your virtual machines usage. So what companies will do is, what you can also do is you can directly install your hypervisor over here. Your hypervisor directly over here. Hypervisor directly over here, and on this existing hypervisor, what you can do is you can install your virtual machines directly over here. Now, this is very good when it comes to your cost, because if you have a server operating system, if I say you have a Cisco Cisco B series or your C series blade, C series chassis, B series blade servers, or C series chassis servers over here, they have a huge amount of RAM, and installing one operating system is not a feasible option. So this type of installation is also known as type 1 or bare metal installation, because we are directly installing our hypervisor on the above hardware, on the existing hardware. So this hypervisor is your product given by VMware. It's called ESXi. It was ESX before. Now it is ESXi. Now this is a very small, you can say not more than 400 MBs, 400 megabytes, you can say MB. It is a very small operating system, but this will have a limited amount of graphical user interface. So how do you manage this? There will be other software for this. You can say VMware vSphere, web client and all, VMware vCenter server. There are other appliances to manage this hardware over here. So what we can do is, in a data center environment, we can have a hardware over here, and on this hardware, whenever you want multiple virtual machines, they will be installed in a very fast, you can say, because for us to order hardware, it takes a lot of time, and to roll out that hardware, install operating systems, put it into our network, it takes a lot of time. And what this allows us to do is to have new servers in like 10 minutes, you can say. It's now, even with using scripting, it is way too faster than before. Now, let us see the benefit of doing that. If you say we want to, why should we use VMware? Now, assuming I have 3 servers over here. I have server number 1, server number 2, and server number 3 over here. These are my physical servers. Server 1, server 2, and my server 3. If I check the utilization of these, they will have a normal operating system on here. They will have a normal OS on each of them. 1, 2, and 3. And on this on this hardware, they have an operating system, and over here they are running their applications. They are providing with web services, for example. But if I say that the utilization of this server is only 40%, and 20% on this one, and 20% on this one, so we are not using these servers totally, right? So instead of using these physical servers, what if I can use this server over here? What if I can use this application on this server and keep this server for aside, because this server is also going to produce heat. So what if there is a way that I can keep this server apart and only use when this server is totally used? So VMware gives us this benefit of doing that also. Now, every time we call in this device over here, and this device will have our ESXi over here. This we will refer to as an ESXi host. Host, if I say a host, means we are talking about a server that has ESXi installed on this, and the operating systems that are over here, we can refer them as our guest operating system. So it becomes very easy for us to understand host and a guest. Host will be our ESXi host, and a guest will be our operating system installed on the ESXi device. Now, what if you say, I want to manage this ESXi? You can use a web browser also. But what if you say, I have many ESXi hosts like this? So I have many physical servers on this. I have many ESXi hosts. So this is my ESXi 1, ESXi 2. Sorry. ESXi 2, and this is my ESXi 3. Now, how will I manage? I cannot use web browser every time to go and each and every server over here. So instead of, what we can do is, we can have one single place of management of all these ESXi servers, and this ESXi servers can be managed from a centralized place called your vCenter server. This can be installed, this vCenter can be installed over a Windows operating system, or there can also be an appliance for managing these ESXi hosts. So what we will do is, we will first see how to install an ESXi, and then we will install guest OSs on that. Now, if you say that I have a guest operating system over here and guest operating system over here, how will they communicate with each other? Or else, how will this operating system communicate with this ESXi's operating system over here? So there will be networking provided to these devices over here. There is a virtual switch inside, you can say. There is a virtual switch. VMware has its own virtual switch, and on this virtual switch we will have these devices connecting over here. This device will have a virtual NIC and they will be connected like this over here. So even if I have a host over here, this host will have a virtual NIC, and this virtual NIC will be connected to a virtual switch inside the host over here.